Yes, just in case I miss anything.
Sure.
Thank you for coming out today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I just have a couple of questions about your job and like what you do, and this might be a little differently worded, but how did you find out about your job?
Here at Pattonville, or my job as a photographer?
Um, Both. If you
Well, I had come from a very poor income family where I wasn't able to have the option of going to college. My grades were always in the middle, where I would get like B averages, so I never qualified for any kind of scholarships. So my only option from living in Sparta, Illinois, was to join the military, so I could get a career in doing something and that meant something, and also to serve my country. I'm very proud of that because my brother died in Vietnam. My dad was wounded in action in North Korea, and I just figured that would, at that time in my life, it was my turn to serve our great United States of America. Uh, I was fortunate enough to be able to get into a career field of something that I loved. I was wound up being a United States Air Force photographer. Got to do a lot of really neat stuff. Got to take pictures of not only things going on at the base, but also got to fly in Huey helicopters and sit next to the gunner on a Huey helicopter and take pictures from the Huey. Uh, Part of my job was to do investigation type photography when anything would happen on an Air Force base that I was stationed at. I would have to go out and take pictures similar to what you students might see on the TV show NCIS. I would have to go out and take wide shots, medium shots, and close-up shots of whatever had happened, whether it would be unfortunately a dead body or just damage to some military material. One of my jobs was taking pictures of what's called FOD damage, FOD. It stands for foreign object damage that happens to airplanes while they're flying, whether it be a duck or some other thing in the air that the airplane ran into, or they had sometimes the airplanes would have stress cracks in the wings that would be of course, not very safe for the pilots to have cracked wings on their airplanes, and I would have to take pictures of that so that, and there was a lot of things I had to take pictures of that were also top secret parts of the plane. I had a top secret clearance, like cryptological clearance. It's spelled C-Y, crypto, C-Y-R. I'm not, I have to look that up. I don't remember. Sorry. The cryptological clearance, which gave me a top secret need to know clearance, where I was able to take pictures of classified parts of the cockpit of the plane, and that was pretty exciting. I was offered the job of going to uh, be a part of the United States Air Force Thunderbird demonstration team, but I wound up turning that down because I would have had to have re-enlisted, and I figured at that time it was time for me to get out of the military because I had problems with my marriage because of the military. And so, as far as my job at Pattonville, my son, when I got custody of him at 10 years old, was going to Pattonville School District, and I heard from his principal that they were having problems with the current photographer that they had here. And I went to the community relations department and talked to the director there, and he asked me if I would teach the young man some things about photography and darkroom work. Well, I did that for a couple months, and I was just like a part-time employee. And a few months after that, the director of community relations wound up calling me at my home, and asked if I was interested in taking the job full time. The kid quit, and I told him I would be interested. So he called me in the office, and we talked it over, and he told me what my duties would be, and we negotiated on what my pay was, and I wound up being April 29th, 1989 was the day that I started full time, and I have been with Pattonville School District ever since. I'm sure that you've heard the slogan, "It's a great place to learn," but it's also a great place to work. Pattonville has been probably the best job that I've ever had, other than being in the United States Air Force. It's been a great career. I started out helping running print presses in the print shop and doing the photography. Then the district started doing their own videos. So since I had training in video production in college and movie production in the Air Force. I started making videos for the school district also, and those were done tape to tape. That was before the digital age, and then we advanced towards digital in 2000, the year 2000. We went to digital, and we've been doing digital ever since.
As a kid, what was the career that you wanted? Or was this the same?
I was interested. I didn't think I would ever get a job as a professional photography, but I was always interested as a kid as a photographer. Uh, I played football and baseball in high school, but for the other sports, I got to take pictures for the school yearbook and the school newspaper, and so that got that uh, that enticed my interest in being a photographer, because I just loved the opportunity of taking pictures of people doing things, and I figured it was like you're freezing time, you're capturing something that people can look back at when they're older with their grandkids and say, "This is me in high school," or something. And I always thought that was an awesome thing to be able to be part of me being able to do something that somebody can share with their future generations with the photography.
If you had a choice, what would you choose a different career?
Um, well, since I gave my life to Christ, the only other career that I would consider other than photography is being a missionary. Because I do go on mission trips 2 or 3 times a year to other parts of the world right now as it is. Mm-hmm.
What kind of experience do you need for your career before and after college?
Before college, the things that I did was get involved with the different types of clubs in doing pictures for the yearbook and making sure that I was interested in photography. My college career wound up being paid for by the United States Air Force, and it was at nighttime, and I took all kinds of different classes in that. And history was one of my favorite topics. I studied United States history I took 2 years of that in college, and after college, I continued with learning as much about photography as I could. I would go to workshops and see how other people did it. I always thought that hands-on training and watching somebody else do it was a whole lot easier for me, because I'm a visual person, than just trying to read about it and trying to figure out how to do it from just reading a book. If I could watch somebody do it, I knew I could duplicate it and be able to do what they're doing and be able to improve on it.
Who helped you get to where you are today?
My last 2 years of high school, I had a teacher my last 2 years of high school, I had a teacher at a vocational school that we went to in Red Bud, Illinois, a half a day out of the school day, and it was like a vocational tech school, and I learned all about graphic arts and stuff from him. And he was a veteran of the United States Air Force, and the things that I learned from him, and the things that I learned about discipline and not giving up on my dreams and stuff, I all learned from him.
Um, what type of, well, you kind of
What
covered
type of
that.
things you're responsible to cover with your job? My responsibility as a school district photographer is to take pictures for the district newsletter, for the district websites, to do videos to promote the school district, and to do whatever I can to help with I can't think of the word, help with the get a mind blank, I'm sorry. To help the district with their vision of what they want the school district to be. I help put the school district in a good light so that the parents could know what all the good and exciting things that their students are doing in school by being able to show them in the district newsletter and on the web. Um, that's about it. The mission, that's what I my job as a district photographer is to promote the mission of Pattonville School District, which is all we'll learn. And I try very, very hard every time I go out on assignment to use to make sure that I don't exclude kids of different races. I make sure that I get pictures of all races, all genders, and so that people could see that we're a school of that we're all about the students and not about where you came from, who you are. We're about the students, and that the students should all be treated equal. And I try to show that in my pictures too. So,
Um, if you could change one thing that you have done to make your job more enjoyable, what would you change?
boy, that's a hard one. I don't think there's anything that I would do to change my job. My job is so. I I am fortunate to be able to say that I have a job where I don't mind getting up in the morning and coming to work because I enjoy what I do. Uh, the school district continually supplies me with what I need to do my job. It's a great job. I can't think of anything I don't want to change to make it more enjoyable. But I enjoy every aspect. I can't pronounce the word. Aspect of the job. Uh, let's see, what would you personally like to do?
Would you personally like to work independently or with others on projects you are given?
I like to work independently on certain projects that I know what I'm doing, and all you have to do is tell me what you want, and I'm capable of doing it. But I also enjoy doing other projects that working on videos and stuff as a collaboration of the whole department and working with other people in the school district on doing stuff that promotes the Pattonville School District.
Um, what is your favorite style of photography and why?
I guess my favorite style of the art of photography would be black and white because I'm old school, and it's the first thing that I learned was doing black and white, and I studied a lot of things about the great photographer Ansel Adams, and I would think most people that know anything about photography know who Ansel Adams was. And if you don't, look it up. He was a great photographer. He did a lot of stuff of the mountains and out west and stuff, and beautiful black and white photography. And I would like to, yeah, that's my favorite style is to do that.
And if you could give advice to someone who wants to be a photographer um, or like interested in what you do, what would it be?
My advice would be not to ever give up on your dreams, and always listen to the advice of other photographers that are willing to give to you. I think the worst thing for me to ever do is to, when I pass away, that I haven't been able to pass my knowledge of photography to somebody else. Don't be stubborn and think that you know it all, because we all, no matter how much training and how much education we have, we could always learn from other people. And that would be my advice, not to be stubborn and always take advice from other people, take it to heart.
And is there anything that you want to add? That
I just, I'm not sure why you chose me to do this interview, but I'm quite honored that you asked me to come do this. I'm very proud that I am an employee of the Pattonville School District. I always tell people how great and wonderful Pattonville is and how great their teachers and their staff are. And I encourage people that I meet out and about that are looking for jobs in school districts to go to Pattonville. I mean, you won't find a better place to work. People are awesome.
well, thank you for coming out.